Hi everyone, hope you all are good. We are here for grade 9 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab, scroll down to grade 9 math, and then click on view all lessons. There you can find the list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter properties. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. So here I'm on grade 9 math. Let's just start with the chapter properties. Properties of addition and multiplication. Let's just start with the lesson. So which property of addition is shown? K plus m plus n is equal to k plus m plus n. So which property of addition is shown? Associative property it is. Group the addends with parentheses and get the same sum. Just the right order of addition is different, but the sum on the both sides are exactly equal. So this equation shows the identity property. The grouping of the addends is changed. Let's just start with the test questions. Which property of multiplication is shown? C times D times F is equal to C times D times F. So on the both sides the numbers are same, just the grouping of the different, right? So that means that is the associative property of multiplication. Associative property it is. Which property of multiplication is shown? A times B times C is equal to A times B times C. So that is again the associative property of multiplication. Option number 4 is the correct option. Which equation shows the associative property of addition? So which one shows the associative property of addition? So associative property always involves three of the numbers, just the order of the addends is different. So option number 3 is the correct option. R plus S plus T, R plus S plus T. Which property of addition is shown? H equals H plus 0. So which property it is? That is the identity property of addition. The correct option is identity property. Which equation shows the identity property of addition? The identity property of addition is u plus 0 is equal to u. Option number 4 is the correct option. Which equation shows the zero property of multiplication? Zero property of multiplication means when you multiply any number with 0, the answer is always the 0. So 0 times b is equal to 0. Option number 4 is the correct option. Which equation shows the associative property of addition? Associative property of addition is a plus b plus c is equal to a plus b plus c. Option number 2 is the correct option. Which property of multiplication is shown? F times h minus g times h is equal to f minus g times h. That is the distributive property. The correct option is distributive property. Which equation shows the identity property of addition? Which is the correct option? Which equation shows the identity property of addition? Identity property of addition is r is equal to 0 plus r. Which property of addition is shown? That is commutative property. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is properties of equality. Which property of equality is shown? If 2 is equal to 16 plus m, then 2 take away minus 37 is equal to 16 plus m minus negative 37. So we need to learn which property it is. Basically, if 2 is equal to 16 plus m, right? Just look at the one after the if. 2 is equal to 16 plus m, and look at the one after the then. You simply subtracted 30 negative 37 both sides, right? So addition, the subtraction property of equality says if you subtract the same number from both sides of an equation, then the two sides are still equal, right? So basically we subtracted negative 37 from both sides, right? So that shows the subtraction property of equality, and still the equation is exactly equal because you subtracted exactly the same number from the both sides. Okay, let's just start with the test questions. Which property of equality is shown if PQ is equal to 20 PQR is equal to 22R? So we are multiplying R on the both sides, right? So that is the multiplication property of equality. Basically, we're multiplying the same number on the both sides. Still, the equation is exactly equal. So that is multiplication property of division property. Both sides divided by R, both sides are multiplying with R. Either the question is there is something wrong with the question because they are multiplying to R, not dividing. That is not division property, that is the multiplication property of equality. Which property of which property of equality is shown if negative 37 is equal to G minus F? Then negative 97 minus H equals G minus F minus H. So we are subtracting H on the both sides. So subtraction property of equality, the correct option is option number 2. That is subtraction property of equality. Which property of equality is shown? Then negative 55 plus j is equal to negative 55 plus k minus 66. So we are adding negative 55 both sides. So that is the addition property of equality. Which property of equality is shown below? If V equals W minus 16, then V minus 25 is equal to W minus 16 minus 25. That is the subtraction property of equality. We are subtracting 25 from both sides. So that is subtraction property of equality. Hmm? Why it is division property of equality? This is the subtraction property. The second equation has both sides divided. No, they are not divided, they are subtracting. So that is actually the subtraction property. Okay. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. Okay, the next lesson is that is distributive property. Let's just start with the lesson. Simplify the expression 8 times 1 plus 4g. So basically we need to apply the distributive property over here. Distributive property means 8 is multiplying to everything that is inside the bracket, right? You need to do 8 times 1, here it is, and then the addition sign, then 8 times 4g, that is 8 plus 32g. Okay, let's just start with the test questions. Simplify the expression, so we need to apply the distributive property. So we have to do 5 times 1. You have to do 5 times 1, and then 5 times 7r. You have to do 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 times 7 is 35. 5 plus 35r. That is 5 plus 35r. Option number 2 is the correct option. Simplify the expressions. We need to do 2 times 2w and 2 times 4. That is 4w plus 8. That is 4w plus 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. Simplify the expression. That is 6 times 1 plus 6 times 2u. 6 times 1 is 6 and 6 times 2 is 12. That is 6 plus 12u. Option number 1 is the correct option. 6 plus 12u. Option number 1 is the correct option. Simplify the expression. 3 times 3 plus 3 times 6 cube. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 6 is 18. That is 9 plus 18q. Option number 2 is the correct option. Simplify the expression. 3 times 10x plus 2. So, which is the correct option? 3 times 10 is 30x and plus 3 times 2 is 6. So, that is 30x plus 6. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 30x plus 6. Option number 2 is the correct option. Four times 1 plus 9k. So, which is the correct option? That is 4 times 1 is 4 and 4 times 9 is 36k. That is 4 plus 36k. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. Simplify variable expressions using properties. Simplify the expression 1 plus 4 plus z. So we need to collect the like terms, right? So 4 plus 1 is same, so just add. That is z plus 5. That is z plus 5. Let's just start with the test questions. Simplify the expression 3 times 2w. That is 3 times 2 is 6. That is 6w. Option number 2 is the correct option. Simplify the expression 4 times 3j. 4 times 3 is 12. That is 12j. That equals 12j. Option number 1 is the correct option. Simplify the expression 9 times 7 is 63x. So the correct option is 63. That is 63x. Option number 2 is the correct option. Simplify the expression j plus 3 plus 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So that is j plus 4. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is j plus 4. C plus 3 plus 1. That is equals C plus 4. Option number. Simplify the expression 3 times 4 p equals 3 times 4 is 3 times 4 is 12, so that is 12b. Option number 1 is the correct option. One plus 4 plus z equals, that is z plus 5. Option number 2 is the correct option. 6 times 3 is 18, that equals 18g. 3 plus n plus 1, that equals n plus 4. 2 times 5 is 10, that is 10y. 6 times 6 is 36, that is 36j. 7 times 5 is 35, that is 35q. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on chapter we were working on is properties. The lessons we have covered today are properties of addition and multiplication, properties of equality, distributive property, simplify variable expressions using properties. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lessons, you can chat button. Tutors are available there to help you if you have any. So any, I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. No questions. Okay, then that's all for today. No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session.